up, Planet Roller Skaters? Indy Jamma Jones here.
And Lady Trample.
And today we are here at Houghton Skate Park. And what are we going to do today?
I think we're going to do a little slide tutorial.
Ooh, Lady Trample's going to teach us how to slide at the skate park. Let's do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, let's roll. This is how we roll. This is how we roll. This is how we roll. Let's roll.
Yeah! Woohoo! Yippee! So, Lady Trample, for those that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about your skate life and what you do?
Absolutely. So I've been skating for about 9 years. I've been playing roller derby with several teams. Started off in Auckland, New Zealand, spent some time in Melbourne, and now I'm currently in Denver. And so that's my accent. And about 8 years ago, I was introduced into park skating, and I fell in love immediately because I had always wanted an excuse to go to the skate park, but I never had a vessel to ride. And when I realized that I could take my roller skates there, I had like an emotional reaction, which was actually anger, because I was mad that I hadn't figured that out sooner. But yeah, basically,
here's my vessel.
Yeah, I was like, I needed something to use, and when I realized that I could do this, even though it didn't click right away and I had to figure it out, it felt like I was supposed to be there. So for the last 8 years, I've been kind of doing a little bit of both, derby, ramp skating, and just trying to, I don't know, figure out what I love about it.
Yes, that's awesome. So you were just talking about some tutorials you filmed that maybe we could see hopefully coming out about transitioning between derby and ramps. I think that's really cool, and you're definitely like the expert on that, I would say, you know? So anyways, very high level derby player, very high level ramp skater, and also the founder of CIB, which is a group, how would you?
It's a community of park skaters, and so we have chapters around the globe. I think we're sitting somewhere above the 300 mark, which is incredible. Basically, these crews are run by local skaters that want to spread the stoke in their area and help people connect to figure out that they also have a passion for park skating. And then we also have a brand side of things, so we make some pretty sweet apparel and some pretty sweet skate gear.
Slide blocks!
Yes!
We're gonna get into that in a second, but just so you know, if you are looking for people to go to the skate park with or people to skate with in general, there's most likely a CIB chapter in your town or city. And if there's not, there's an opportunity to start one. And they will help you learn how to recruit people, and you're just instantly part of an awesome community of roller skaters. So we will put the link to that in the caption below. And then today, I'm super excited because we are going to learn and teach you guys the basics, beginner of sliding. So people always ask, what are these things between your skates? What would you tell them?
I tell them that they're basically, if they're skateboarders, firstly, so that's kind of like a look at what they're riding, is the similarity between having that slider bar on your board. They give you the ability to go up and connect to the coping so that if you're just trying to stall, you have something there to reach. And if you go and add momentum laterally on it, then you get to use your energy to slide across. And honestly, there is no better feeling.
It's so much fun.
I actually remember seeing you slide for one of the first times when I gave you a set of these at upper level skate camp.
Yeah.
And I watched, and you picked it up so fast, it was infuriating. In a really, I get angry over silly things, but I was yes, how did you do that so quick? And just like your ability to naturally transfer that momentum to the coping through your blocks was so much fun to see. So.
Oh, it was the best. It really reminds me in a weird way of trampoline and tramp wall, because there's this kind of like moment of like floating, even like when you're on top of the tramp wall. I don't know.
So I suppose if you're trying to do like a lateral, like if you're shifting your energy across.
Yeah, so you can like bounce on the trampoline and they call them rainbows, and you can like run, and there's this like pause moment, and you're kind of like flying and floating, and it feels bizarrely similar to sliding.
I refer to rainbows when we're coaching, so this is
rainbows.
Perfect.
There you go, perfect. So I'm gonna take it super easy today because this is only my second day back at the skate park, so I'm gonna do baby steps, but hopefully that'll be helpful for your tutorial. So I'm gonna try to follow, and let's do it.
Sweet.
I've been waiting all my life for someone like you.
So the first thing you need to know is you need to be comfortable stalling on whatever the coping is that you're going to be sliding on. In terms of gear, you obviously need to have some sort of sliding block on the bottom of your skates, and you also want to have wheels that are hard. If you're wearing a stickier wheel or a bigger wheel, you're going to get more resistance. So right now, I'm wearing the Vertex wheel, which is our hardest wheel. And it is really good until I get onto a small ramp because it's a bigger wheel. So if the transition is short and the angle is large, then it means that I'm going to get more wheel drag on the transition and the top deck. So I typically switch into our street or park wheels for a smaller ramp, and then I switch into my Vertex if I'm skating something bigger. So this is great.
CIB Vertex wheels and CIB sliders on Antic skates. And my setup is Moxie boot with CIB sliders and the roller bones. They're like hard wheels, bull bombers. That's it. All right, cool. So gear check.
Gear check.
Got it.
So the next thing that we want to think about is our approach. And we want to do this in a way that we're going to be able to maintain our momentum as we reach the coping. If you skate a beeline towards the coping at an angle, it's going to be really hard for you to transition from one angle to the next, and you'll probably end up popping out of the transition. So instead, you're going to create that rainbow, that arc as you carve towards the coping, and then as you reach the coping, you're going to think about shifting your energy across in the direction that you want to slide. So really be intentional about making that arc nice and smooth, and the further you carve into it and the harder you carve into it, the longer and further you'll slide. So the last thing is exiting. Oh, taser is lovely. Seriously. They're trying to figure out if it hurts. I bet it does. So when I think about exiting from my slides, I am going to be able to come down. My natural instinct is to come out fakie because that's my preferred exit. But some people are automatically going to want to rotate. So if you find that you're the kind of skater that likes to stall and rotate out and that's your go-to, then when you exit your slide, do that same rotation. Think about it the same way that you would exiting a stall. And the great thing about slides is that once you get the basic down, you can add every kind of variation. So you can slide both directions, you can rotate in of them, you can rotate out of them, and you can even switch mid-slide. That's something that I'm currently working on at the moment. Ooh. Yeah, it's fun. It's scary. And one last thing that I want you to think about is when you stall, you really think about bringing your energy and your weight to the top of the ramp, and your center of gravity is going to be on top, kind of loaded forward in your blocks and onto your front wheels. When I'm sliding, I think about actually sinking my weight into the transition, and I want to be teetering on the coping. That's going to give me the least amount of resistance. There's a ladybug on your lens.
Really?
Seriously, look.
What? Really? That's magical. Oh, good science. All right, we're just going to leave it.
Yeah, there we go.
Is it fly away?
It's on my head?
No.
Hit my head.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to go do some slides.
Awesome. All right. Down. I'm ready to start trying to do my little rainbow arc. Do I just go for it?
So I build up to it with different size arcs. So when someone's learning, I tell them to basically go at it with a tiny little rainbow. And the rainbow starts kind of partway up the transition. That's going to allow you to feel what it's like to get a little bit of energy into it, but you're not going to go very far. And then as you start to get comfortable with those little itty bitty slides, you then add more energy. The more carve you put into it and the more speed you go into it with, the further you're going to slide. So you get to kind of bite-sized pieces.
Okay. Where does my weight go while I'm sliding? Does it go on my foot that's leading the slide? Does it stay in the middle? Do I just need to worry about getting low?
I like to think about having a wide stance. That's going to give me a lot of stability. So I really think about having my weight just slightly outside of my shoulder width.
Okay.
And that means that if one foot slides more than the other because your weight is slightly off and it's not centered, then you have time to recenter yourself while your skates come together. If you start with a tight stance like this, then if your weight ends up off, your skates go out. And I have had that happen a handful of times. So. Sorry,
So maybe is why I'm a little mental with these.
Right,
I might
start wide, spread them.
super wide. All right. I'm gonna push my feet out. I'm gonna get wide. I'm gonna get low. All right. So I'm gonna start with a little baby arc and see how it goes.
Oh, and the very last thing. So when I mentioned keeping your body inside the transition. It's really important. Otherwise, you're going to get wheel drag from the top of the deck, even with the slickest
Wheel drag because these are gonna be standing up, so the front wheels are gonna touch.
So when you
Wheel
stall,
drag.
yeah,
Ding,
it's
ding,
a drag.
ding. Keyword.
So if your weight is up, like when you're stalling, your weight actually goes through your wheels. And if I try to just stand on the coping right here where I am, I can put my blocks here and I can kind of push. And because this is metal, it's going to be a little bit slick. But if I hold on to you a little bit and I lean my weight off so that I'm not on my wheels, I get a lot more movement.
Do you want to get a little close up of that so you can see that her wheels aren't touching?
So my blocks are slippery and my wheels are slippery, so I can still do it. But if I commit to going slightly further in, it's really hard to fake this. Then my block is the one doing the work.
Makes sense for grinding.
Yeah, absolutely. Sliding.
Oh, was that a high five?
That was a high five. That was a correction. That is a high five. I'm awkward. No,
me too.
I absolutely agree. And when I think about stalling, we take that pendulum and then we re-up on our weight up.
Yeah.
So when you're sliding, you actually keep that weight balanced
So
in.
instead of being like, it's not like up, stall,
Yeah.
it's more like, oh,
Exactly. Yeah, that's great.
All right, cool. I'm gonna try. I'm ready.
You got it. That's okay.
Baby steps. Okay.
Tiny little rainbows.
Baby steps, little slides. Overcoming some fear right now. This is real, y'all. I got it. Okay. First I'm gonna stall, then I'm gonna start doing a little bit, and I'm gonna think why I push them. Okay. Around again. Okay. All right. Not so bad.
Yes.
Whoa. That's fun and terrifying. Woo! Yes, thank you. I'm gonna do a couple more.
Yeah, get it.
Can't stop now. Okay, I feel good. Baby steps. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Planet Roller Skate. Thank you, Lady Trample, for the awesome tutorial.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Nick, for demonstrating and helping us film. I did not expect to be pushing myself today.
You did great.
Thank you.
You slid. You slid.
You know, and it's the little small steps, and I don't know, I feel really good.
Yeah.
So maybe
Baby
I'll-
rainbows.
Yes, baby rainbows and the ladybug. That was the sign, you know?
It was so sweet.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit up planetrollerskate.shop where you can get your own slide blocks and hard park wheels. And until next time, oh, this is where we say later skaters.
Later skaters.
So until next time, later skaters. And then you go whoosh.